Hello, hello, guys. Welcome to Live with Jacqueline Valdez. I'm super excited to be here today. So today, our next guest, we are going to be talking to celebrity chef. She also has a signature spice line out, and I'm super excited and honored to have her here. So let's welcome Miss Chef Monica to the show. Whoop, whoop.
Woo-hoo! Hey,
I love it.
thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited to be here with you. You are so beautiful. Your
Oh,
show is amazing.
oh,
You
thank
know,
you.
you know, I've
Oh.
been talking you and all your guests and stuff. Everything is so great. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, of course. Of course. I'm super excited, super honored to have you here. And I'm so excited to hear about your journey and how everything is starting to unfold for you. And you have some amazing stuff coming up. So, welcome. How's your day been going?
Oh my gosh, my day has been so busy. It's been great. It has been it's just been busy
Yeah.
all day long. You know, when you're still a mom who's active, but just children are grown, but you can't help it. And then you start to turn into a grandma, and although I'm not keeping the grandkids,
Right.
that might be a good thing right now, right?
Cute. I love it. I love it. So, have you always been a chef or how did you get involved in this industry?
Well, how I got involved in the industry, I've been in the hospitality industry. Try
Uh-huh.
saying that when you're, trying to get this out at one time. But I've been in the hospitality industry for over 25 years. I started out in the front of the house.
Okay.
Um, at 6 years old, I started cooking. I started working with my family. My grandmother taught me how to make eggs at 6. And I was a kid. I was a chunky kid. I was a fat kid. I was a kid that wanted the attention. I was a kid that they always put out. I was always the stage kid.
Oh,
Guests came over. I was the one that had this thing. I'm a little teapot. You remember that? Did you
yes. Yes. I used
remember
to
that?
do that. Yes.
So I'm not the only one. I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Yes.
So I was the chunky, and so I had four other cousins that when I finished that, they were ready to jump on me. It was four girls, so they used to jump.
Wow.
So I had to learn how to fight. I was the only girl that my dad had, and so no, I was getting jumped like gang jump in the back. So I
Wow.
had to fight. So I had to learn how to fight really, really quick.
Wow.
So we were So when I learned how to cook, that was something, of course, that was paramount in my family.
Yeah.
So you just learn a little bit of time, and I was like, oh man, I can cook. Everybody wants to eat,
Yeah.
and I'm not getting in trouble. So that was positive
Um,
attention. And
I
so
love it.
yeah, but then when you're questioning your grandmother, and your grandmother's like, they're cooking and they got all this stuff in the pan, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna cook. Leave the trash in the pan. I'm like, oh, Big Mom, what's this trash in the bottom of the pan? And then you get smacked, and you're like, don't ask me any questions. Don't ask me what trash is. And you're like,
Wow.
you know, but they mean the pond in the bottom of the pan. And
Right.
okay, Big Mom, I want to ask, what trash is. So you just learn to keep. I didn't keep my mouth shut. I was the one that always got. We called it beat. We
Right.
didn't whippings. We called it whoop or beat. And majority of them, So then I had to figure out how to cast those off on my other cousin. So I
Wow.
started early. So then I became a little bit more refined. So when I got ready to go off to school, I discovered that I wanted to be in the front of the house. So I did a lot of caterings. I did a lot of the banquet setting. So I
Wow.
learned how to do business up in the front of the house, but I always kept watching in the back, watching the chef, talking with them. And I remember talking with chefs, and they would tell me, "No, you don't want to be back here. You don't want to work back here." And I would ask them, "How many years have you worked in the kitchen?" They would say,
Right.
20 years, 25 years. And I was like, "How many
Wow.
years have you worked back here?" 30. And I was like, "Well, why are you telling me don't come back here?" And then, after a while I did, I learned. So I was young. I was 20, but I always kind of catered.
Right.
And then I did stuff. So I always did things, and I said, well, you know what? I'm always cooking, and I was always catering in the community. I always did things like that. I did stuff in the church, and I said, you know what? And I was always coming up with my own recipes. So
Uh,
decided to, when I went to college, I graduated with a degree in foods and nutrition. And then, in 2009, I lost my brother to suicide. Well, when that happened, I had a bout with severe depression, 2.5 years. So I had to
Wow.
find a way to deal with that. For
Hmm.
6 months, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to be alive. So I said, okay, how are you gonna get up? You still got 3 kids.
Hmm.
What are you gonna do? You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to change your clothes. You don't even want to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
You know, you got.
Wow.
So I went back, got a second degree in culinary arts, and then my
Wow.
opened back up.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm so sorry for your loss. I can relate. I lost my first fiance to suicide, and it's very challenging and struggling. And you get, definitely in a funk and depression, and that you turned your tragedy into something beautiful is really inspiring.
Yeah, I lost my dad last year to the same thing.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
You don't want to lose tough, So you have to
Yeah.
learn to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but nobody knows. And every time I give a speech, I go somewhere, somebody in the room comes up to me and says,
Oh,
they tell me their story, just like you just told me. And so
yeah.
I have to find a way to live. Trust me, I'm
Yeah.
hurt. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah.
There are days when I want to get up and put the cover over my head.
Yeah.
I've got a chronic illness I have to deal with. I have that's multiple sclerosis. So it's, life it'll find a way to chisel at you. It'll hit you, it'll knock you down, it'll cut your legs off. But you
Yeah.
gotta get up. And food was my way.
Yeah.
And so I took I was making spices. It took me 12 years.
Wow.
I was developing spices, and my mom kept saying, "You need to sell these things. You need to put them in a box." Why ain't nobody gonna buy these things? My girlfriends would call me. My sorority sisters would call me, and they would say, "What can I do? What can I make this? Uh, and what can I put on this chicken?" And I was like, "Y'all, it's so easy. Well, you say
Yeah.
everything." So I would tell them, and there was one I literally made in the street. Gastonia, because I'm from Gastonia, North Carolina, has a
Okay.
holiday every year. I made the first spice I made in the street after my brother died. One of his closest friends, Kipling, and that's what the first spice was. He said he came up to me, and they called me Pecos. I ain't gonna tell you why they call me Pecos. And they go, I can't tell. Now, see, I'm getting ready to get down in some bones in the closet. So Kip came up. He couldn't eat fried chicken anymore, and he said,
Oh,
Pecos, I can't eat fried chicken, and I had my grill out. And he said, make me something I can eat. So I said, all right, Kip, I'm gonna throw you something together. So it was a spice I was making.
wow.
My sister-in-law was using it, and I call my sister-in-love, not my brother's gone. And I was using it. I said, okay, put this on your chicken, you'll be good.
I love
So,
it.
so he said he started tearing it up. So that's how we started. The first one on the back, you'll see a recipe called Kipling. On the front, it says herb citrus because it has to be friendly on the grocery store shelf. But
That's
anyway,
so cool.
started using that. So then everybody said, "Well, I'll pay you for it." I was like, listen to my mom.
Right.
So I said, "Well, I don't have a jar to put it in." They said, "Put it in the bag." So I said, "Okay." I was putting it out in the bag, and I was, you know. So
Right.
then we had a sisterhood, and then one of my sorors said, "What's your address?" And I said, "What?" So I told her. So then they started shipping bottles to the house.
Wow.
Then my business partners who I work with, they said, "I keep telling you, you need a product," and it was coming. I was fighting it. Then I
Wow.
was one spice took me a year to craft and get right. So it was just things like that. I just kept fighting it. Like I've been fighting this cookbook. I'm kind of stubborn, if you can tell.
I love it.
So because I have a bigger goal. There's a goal that I'm getting to. But there was just things like that where they'll push you to where they see you where you need to be. And
Yeah.
I kept getting pushed to that. And I have a ton of recipes. I just had it's expensive. And I
Wow.
said, Okay. I got these six, and they're, oh God, it's so great. So I just kept, I always tell people don't give up.
Yeah.
I was in the bed, sick. When I say don't want to get up, my kids would watch me. And they kept living without me. And they kept coming. I remember one day my son came by me. This is when he was my oldest son. And
Right.
you think people don't see you when you're up under the cover. It's like being a little kid when you're scared. You cover your eyes up and you think nobody see you. And
Yeah.
I was so depressed. I was still married to my husband, now ex-husband, and
No.
we were together for 25 years, and I was just like, oh dear God, I had to find a way to get up, and my friend came in. I had not done anything for a week, and everybody was just they were trying to. This is when my brother died,
Right.
and my brother was my world, and my son came in and he said, "Oh, you still on the couch?" And I was like, "Oh, you can see me?"
Oh.
And so
Wow.
I said, Monica, you got to get up because I'm a fighter now.
Yeah.
You can pull myself up. So
Wow. Wow. It's so crazy how the world and the universe works out and how, it was always there with the cooking and the spices and the creating. It was, always there for you. And you
mhm.
were finally open to embracing it. And it's just now that you've embraced it, things are really starting to happen and it's happening so organic for you.
It is. It is. And so now, I've been doing TV for 11 and 12 years, and people are like, and I was quiet about it. In the beginning, I started doing, I was like, I've been on two Food Network shows. I
Yeah.
even turned down one,
Wow.
and I did at the time. And that's how I started out. There was no social media.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
was in magazines. I was doing all this other stuff, and I was just like, oh, going all these invitations up and down the East Coast, over here and there. And I remember my uncle asked me. He said, "What is your purpose?" And I looked at him. Now he's dead and gone, and
Mhm.
he worked for Black Enterprise magazine. He was Earl Grey's right hand man, and he
Wow.
just kept saying, What are you gonna do?" And I just kept thinking, how dare you ask me that? Because I was just like, I just love it. When you find something you love that you do for free, and I just wasn't processing what the
Yeah.
universe, was taking me and what God was doing. I was just like, I just want to cook. I just want to be at peace. I want to be
Wow.
at peace. And then then the divorce came, and then the multiple sclerosis came first.
Wow.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair because I'm not supposed to be walking.
Wow.
That's the first thing. I ain't supposed to be walking.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, now that I did, I said, now y'all can have that. I told doctors, you do what you got to do.
Right.
I'm in a wheelchair. And then the next thing came the divorce, and then I just said, oh, all right, okay, Lord, what here we
Yeah.
go. I'm listening. So
Right.
business partners, I'm listening. What do
Wow.
y'all? I just want to cook. That's all. It's in my heart, my blood. I just want to cook. That's
Yeah.
all. So then, okay, so let's just cook. Leave me alone. I just want to cook. Just let me get to the stage. I'm built for the stage. I know I'm built for TV. I've
Right.
been I've been cooking on TV for the last 11, 12 years. I'm
Wow.
going on WBTV
Whoop, whoop.
Thursday. Yeah, I'm going on that Thursday. It's nothing for me to pick up a mic. My mom is nothing for her to pick up a mic. I
Yeah.
am that show money. It's nothing for me to do that. I love going. I love. Don't give me a script. Y'all give me a script, and I'll be like, huh? I mean, I do what you tell me to do. You just tell me. I do what you tell me to do. But I love life.
Yeah.
I want to live. That's the first thing. Because for 6 months, I didn't want to live. I could
Wow.
tell you how I was going to take my life for six
Oh my
months.
gosh.
I could tell you how I was going to take my life.
Wow.
I could tell you I was going to do that, Jacqueline.
Wow.
But now, when I came out of that depression, I told
Yeah.
God, I said, now I'm ready to live, and
Hmm.
I'm going to live. And so MS tries to take me down, but now I'm ready. I'm here. So I
Yeah.
can tell. I know. I
Wow.
know why the caged bird sings. I
Hmm.
honestly know what that means. And I know what it means to open my eyes and say, thank you, God, for giving me one more chance. I know what it means when you got something so strong in your heart. I know when I look at you on all your YouTube, and
No.
I know when I can, if I can get to the bottom and find your first show, I can say, I know she had to work hard. I
Yeah.
know what it means. I know
Yeah.
what it means to work hard for something. And
Yeah.
I know how hard we have to fight to earn that dream. I have
It's
opened, we got
oh,
two markets open in North Carolina. Actually, got more than that. It's hard to get these spices in the market. We're in your
I can
front,
imagine. Yeah.
and to get slapped in the face and told no.
Wow.
Oh, y'all don't want to put my spices on the shelf? Okay, and I got a good product.
Yeah.
I promise you on everything. I got a good product, girl. I know I cook. My
Woo!
chef, woo, girl, and see I
Yeah.
studied those flavors. I
Wow.
went over and over and over. My espresso barbecue, the first 9 ingredients, I could have
Wow.
stopped and had one spice, but I kept going. Cause see,
Wow.
you got 2 spices in one. You can bake with it, you can grill with it, you can barbecue with it, you can just, you can do whatever you want with it.
Wow.
I know I can good product. People come to that market and they go, "Oh wow!" I say,
Wow.
I'm not, I'm not being arrogant. I just know I got a good product,
Yeah.
and I know it works because I had mom after mom. I had moms
Oh,
come to me and say, "I can't cook. My kids won't eat my food." I said, "Well, sweetheart, just take this." And they say they come back and the kids go, "Mom, you can cook, Chef Monica. You got my mom cooking." I said, "Okay." I got men coming to me saying,
wow.
"Can you give me something? I want to give my wife a great dinner." And they used to
Oh,
come to me for recipes. I said, "Well, just put this on the chicken," you know.
wow.
And
I've got
that's
to try these spices. You got me all pumped up. I'm so jealous. Why have I not tried these?
well, that's why I came when my brother died. I came up with the concept: eat to live longer. The two is because we're both in the Greek community, the Divine Nine. He's an Omega, I'm a Delta. So the two is his number. That's his pledge number. And I said, eat to live longer, get your family back to the table, create a sustainable eating lifestyle, and um, eat more farm to fork. And the thing is, when we were younger, you you ate at the table, you talked to your family, you
Right.
learned, you had conversations like, I had a bad day, I didn't
Yeah.
pass my spelling bee test, I didn't do this, I didn't do that.
You connected.
Right. And then you had tragedies that happened in the community, and
Yeah.
the families that ate together were a central place for the families that did not eat
Yes.
together. And they came down there because they
Yeah.
said, "Hey, did your grandmama make something? Can you give me something to eat?"
Aw.
So
Yeah.
we would
Brings
go,
together.
right, we would go outside with a bowl of food
Oh.
and we didn't have to sneak food out. My grandmother then would make extra stuff. They say, "Take this down here because so and so didn't pay the light bill."
Oh. I love that you're passing, this legacy pretty much from your grandma and your family and from the loved ones that have gone and having fun with it. You're so passionate and you can see that you're loving every moment and
Mm.
you are just looking so shining and bright and happy and healthy.
Well, you have to do that. I have to pass that on to my kids. The one thing I can't do, don't I always tell people, you asking me for money, I'm probably not gonna. I don't carry cash, and I'm probably not gonna give you the money because I'm be like, okay. But now, if you ask me for something to eat,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you something to eat. If
No.
you ask me for something, I just can't stand to
Yeah.
see anybody. Nobody should be hungry in this country.
What?
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's too much. All this food.
It's sad. It's sad how there's so much food wasted and so many people that are deprived. The system is definitely missing a lot of elements that could be a lot better to provide for everyone.
Yeah, no one,
Yeah.
nobody. Why am I throwing anything
Yeah.
in the?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And I love that you stated that even though all of the things that life was thrown at you and all of the hardships and the struggles, that you still are your number one cheerleader. You still are really believing in yourself. And don't matter how dark it is, there's always a light at the end. So anyone that is going through these struggles and hardships and feels like they're alone, there's always a light, and you have to keep, focusing on that light inside of you and keep focusing on the positivity and just pushing through.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but no one. I mean, I feel like two things should be: everybody should have health care, and everybody should have food.
Yeah, I
We the
100% agree.
we the baddest country on the planet.
Yeah, and I'm hoping more conversations like this really triggers things and really awakens people and makes people realize that we're all a community. We all, are there to support one another, and we should support one another, and we should speak up on things that are being, mistreated, or people mistreated, or people that don't have health. It's just astonishing, the stuff that goes on in the world now.
It is. It is. When I
Yeah.
ran my at the church, I remember we finished cooking one night,
Yeah.
and me and my sous chef, I said, you know, we got all this food. I'm getting ready to throw it out. But not throw it out. We would take it, and I
Right.
said we have a few plates left, and we put it in to go boxes. I said let's just ride down Main Street
No.
and let's hand it out to people. And I said, but I don't know if they'll take it. So
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the president or if you're homeless. I'm gonna treat you the same. So I would go down there and I'll say, hey, I'm Chef Monica, and this is what I have for you tonight. I said, I haven't done anything to food. I'm just in it. And before I could even open my mouth, Jacqueline, they said,
Oh.
man, thank you. I'm just hungry. Now, you and we have what we need.
Right.
And I would not be rude to a person, but when you take food from somebody else, a lot of people, we probably like, oh no, I'm good because I don't know what you did with the food. I don't trust. I'm just a non-trusting person. But when you take food from somebody that you've never seen before, you
Yeah.
know you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just yeah,
Mhm.
and then you know
And
you're
I
hungry.
love that you have such a big heart and that you're so giving, and, sharing your talents and sharing, what you've done and created with other people who are less fortunate. And I think it's so beautiful. More people need to do that.
We can pray. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. More people can do that. So how did you go from, doing what you're doing in your home and then starting at the church and different places to feed celebrities and feeding, some bigger names in the industry, the entertainment industry?
You get called. People see what you're doing. So many connections that are so many places. And the thing is, starstruck. I don't. People say, "Well, hey, can you come feed so and so? Can you want to come?" And I take these accounts with some of the major businesses that I work with, and they say, "You want to come feed so and so?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah." Cam Newton. I got to go feed the first. I think I can say Sheila Johnson was one of the first Black women billionaires. I got to go work with her, right, by way of
Cool.
Roland Martin and his wife,
Wow.
my star, Dr. J Hood. We call her J Hood, but Jackie Hood Martin. I'm
Love
trying to
it.
be dignified, but yeah, we just have a good time. But
Yeah.
you want, you go in, and then that's when I work with. I met so many of Hell's Kitchen winners.
Oh,
I work with Rock Harper. I met Rock Harper, who's season 3. He and I worked in the kitchen together. Rock Harper, me and Rock, and
how fun.
Chef Rock. rock food, solid rock. Well, rock is cool. Tasha McCutcheon, she and I have worked together through Black Expo. I'm trying to think. I've worked with several of some of Gordon Ramsay's people. I met. She ran. Golly, I can't remember her name. But I worked with a whole lot of other people. And we
Wow.
have appreciation for each other's processes and our food. But when I
Yeah.
work with Chef Rock, we also work with Carla Hall, who is Bravo top chef. We were all in the same kitchen together. But you
Wow.
would think you would get up there, and we had other chefs. So Chef Dee
Right.
Dee Cooks, who's in there. So I'm not slighting anyone. And Roland Martin's brother is also a chef who
Wow.
works out of Houston, and his nieces are well, one of his nieces is an aspiring chef. She was so sweet. She's so sweet, and she is, and they call him Uncle Roro. So we
Cute.
all, yeah, and so we lived on, well, for the weekend we stayed on Miss Sheila Johnson's, one of
Nice.
her compound, her one of her resorts.
Exciting. How fun. I bet that was so much fun to have all that different energy and all the creative processes and all the food. Food is so much fun. Food is a happy thing.
I have never seen so much food, but we worked with, the thing is, when you go into somebody else's kitchen,
Yeah.
sometimes you have some chefs. I've been in places where I've worked with other chefs. Um, like for instance, I had to go set up where Bishop Sapp.
Uh-huh.
Sapp was back there. I met him, and I asked another chef, and this was in a coliseum in another city. I won't say where. And
Okay.
I can I get some water out of your kitchen so we could have some water to wash our dishes? I know, wash our hands and put in the what you call. And they
Right.
said, I said, damn, I can't get no water. You know, yeah,
Wow.
oh yeah, that's how it's just like that's a courtesy. Water, I can't get water. I didn't ask, could I come in your kitchen and get the water? I just said, well, can I give you my bucket and y'all get me some water? And they said no.
Wow. That's
So
shocking.
when I get that was the first time I had ever been told I can't get any water. Mm,
Wow.
mm. So we were relegated to a hallway in the back, which is fine. I don't have. I listen. This is
Wow.
your place. When I was told I could not get water, and then they had an attitude about it.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that's really hard. How do you come back from that?
So if you won't give me water so I can wash my hands or water to do X, Y, and Z, then how are you gonna treat somebody else on the street? So
Yeah.
I had already bought. I always buy us like 2 cases of water so we have something to drink for me and my staff. So we use that water. I said, this is why I bring the kitchen, the sink, the sun, the moon, and the stars everywhere I go. So I don't have to ask anybody for anything. Um, and I
Wow.
don't. And that's water.
Yeah. That's a little yeah, that's a little disheartening.
And the reason I'm saying this because I want to put this on camera because and I and they went to the head chef. I said, "Well, can I speak to the head chef myself?" And they said he won't come and speak to you, but I could hear him in the back yelling, "No,
Wow.
no, no water! I'm not giving her any water." I, you know,
Wow.
I was the headline chef, and I was like, "Okay, keep your water then." I don't, dang. And I
Wow.
can't. You don't go outside and get water from the hose pipe because that's not what's called potable water. And I
Right.
thought, you
Wow.
know, I could have written back to the Coliseum people and the city, and I mean, I know how to write a letter and raise hell, but I didn't do that.
Right.
But people really need to understand professional courtesy. I'm gonna leave it at that, but I don't want to, I have, but I've gone places. But what I like to say is that I think your karma, I think
Yes.
your level of professionalism, I think every everywhere I go, I've always been asked to come back. It's like every job I've always gone to, I can go back to that job. You know, it's just
Yeah.
I'm a company girl. I do what you tell me to do. Yes, and I want to come back. And if
Yeah.
I don't want to come back, I just don't go back. But
And I love that. I love that you said that because it's so important for people to know that don't matter where you started and where you've been and where you're going, to always keep that professionalism, to keep that humbleness about you, to keep
mhm,
that beautiful spirit about you, and to treat everyone with kindness. And, you never know when it's going to come back around, or what's going to happen. We're all human and we need to all just treat each other with dignity.
you do. You do have to treat people with dignity. But I will stand my ground and I will stand up for people. I'm not now. I'm gonna tell you now. Now I can't be a razor blade if you slide up and wrong me the wrong way.
Is there anyone that you wanted to do a special shout out to? Speaking of people that have been amazing.
But people who are also amazing. I am a celebrity writer for Insight Magazine, and
Okay.
so love to give my Insight Magazine people a shout out if they're watching. Definitely to my uh, upscale PR.
Yes, we
Jacqueline
love upscale.
Leslie Logan, love her. Definitely to my family. Yes, my mom. I was gonna say and my dad, but he's you
Watching
know
over.
watching over. My kids, MJ Morgan and Martin. MJ Morgan and Martin. They come right in row inbox. So
I love it.
my sorors, I love them. And then of course the red gives that away. I always like to say that. And I have some amazing people who have been so supportive. Um, just along the way. Your mind always goes blank because this is like when you go to the church pulpit and they're like, give a shout. You don't forget to call on Pastor so and so and Bishop such and such is here. And I'll be like, ask all the dignitaries to stand up. You know,
Yeah.
all it's just one of those things. And to my team, definitely for sure, my exclusive photographer, and that is Curtis Lawrence, and then Nate Summer, team members, and Shelton Brown. I always tease them because they have to put up with me. I always like to say I have to put up with them. Um, you
Cute.
know,
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really great, supportive, fun team and people around you, and things are really just looking up for you. What things have coming up for you?
yeah, well, some great things that are coming up for me is we are still pushing to get the spices into main stores. So grocery stores, that would be great. But if not, we are selling them on our own just as if they are being sold in the grocery store. We got grocery stores that are like, oh, we don't want to make, the pallets. But now that we're out of COVID, I mean, we're pushing out pallets of spices on our own. Beverly's market here in Charlotte, and that's the Mecklenburg County market. And then we've got Raw Essence in Columbia, South Carolina, on Two Notch Road. Because Columbia, South Carolina. Listen, if I don't know where nothing else is in Columbia, Two Notch Road is where it's all at. Uh,
Nice.
I know. Yeah, we're doing some great work with Jack Daniels, and that's been great. We've got some new merchandise that will be coming out prayerfully by before the fall.
Wow.
I'm great work. Going to be cooking with Savor Magazine in Canada, with
Wow.
yes, with Canada in July. Lot Queens Rock. Love Rebecca. She and I started out on social media probably about the same time. She's doing a lot of
Wow.
great things. She's coming to Gastonia with her Lot Queens Rock
Very
um, Expo, and it's going to be at Legacy, which is run by Cheryl Littlejohn, who is from Gastonia. They're going to have um, their expo at
nice.
Legacy. in Gastonia. I'm trying to remember all the names. So I'm one of the main stage speakers there. That will
Very
be in July. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing the event for Canada and Lot Queens Expo in the same week.
Wow, busy week there. And I will have your information posted once this interview goes on the YouTube so that way people can find you and follow you.
Yes, please do. I mean, I'm a busy bee. It's just
Yes,
you
you
know,
are.
get
So how is it that you're so busy? And I know that you said you have MS also. How are you able to control keeping your health doing well and you're looking healthy.
well, I have a great team. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of prayer. I met with my medical team all week. I meet with more doctors. They come into the house.
Okay.
I get a lot of infusions. My infusions when they put a put an IV in the vein,
Right.
it's like $32,000. But I have a great friend at Empower in Nutrition. She's got me started on some. Um, she's helping me do some really great things.
Wow.
Um, Kiki Fit for Life. She's really great, and
No.
I have a lot of great people around me. Like
Yeah.
I watch people. I get a lot of empowering things. Tremaine
No.
Stevens, one of my church members, he does a lot with um, like Fitness She, Kiki, and then
Yes.
there's Keith Glenn with eating weights and plates, and
Nice.
um, I get inspired by them. So I'm kind of, I do eat well, but Kiki echoed some stuff that my doctor said to me, and she and my doctor do not talk. It was scary. Um,
Wow. That's really
and
cool.
yeah, she does the herbal life, but
Oh,
evidently not doing what I need to do for myself. Me who preaches.
yeah. That's very easy. It's very common with a lot of people to do that. Baby
Yeah,
steps, taking it one day at a time, changing, lifestyle is definitely very challenging.
yeah, I mean, I don't have yes people around me. That's number one. I've
Hmm.
never, ever had yes people around me. That's the first thing. Um, and I don't have yes friends around me. My people, you have to come at me and you have to hit me in the face. And she put me in my place. She said, look, I know you've lost a lot of weight. I know this is the most weight you've lost. I've lost, I think, over 60 some pounds. And
Wow.
yeah, and I didn't realize it. And she put me on this scale. And when I tell you, she spit back to me exactly what my doctor told me a year ago.
Wow.
Year ago.
It's meant.
And I looked at her. I was in her store. And I was slinging my head in my head. So I said, I don't like you no more. You ain't my friend and all this other. She said, you love me.
And I love that. That's a gem that you just dropped is not having people around you that just agree with you and that just say yes. You want people around you to help elevate you and push you to be a better you and call you out.
My line sisters are good for that. I got
Yeah.
them. My line sisters, Rose Theta, Spring 91, Appalachian State. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm so happy for you that you're doing so well and so much stuff is just blooming for you. And I'm so excited for your spices to take over.
I am too. Wait till you it's there's more.
Yes. I love it. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
Oh boy. You know, this is gonna be funny. I kind of would like to be remembered for my sarcastic humor. I really do. For my sarcastic humor, I'd like to be remembered for that smile, that sarcastic humor. Because I promise you, if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm your girl. If you don't have me on your team, I'm your zombie apocalypse consultant. I am. I'm just a fun girl. I do. I guess that's what I want to be remembered for. I do want that legacy I'm leaving for my family. My cousins, my family, my kids, mother, just all that stuff. I'm
Oh,
just, I guess just, just me. I'm normal. I'm human. I'm like everybody else. I want to laugh. I want to sit with my friends. I want to sit with my family. My cousins, my big cousins, Pam, Gina, Deborah, Julie, Hannah, all the cousins, Tally, Rotoy, all of them, just fat,
I
I'm
love it. And you already are. You're such a huge inspiration and you're just so open and humble and so real and just so fun. And I love that you are just taking life, by the handles and you really just are shining so much and you want to live and it shows and you are just so empowered. I love it.
thank you. Thank you. Well,
Yes.
I thank you. You are amazing.
Oh,
And Jacqueline, life could not be any better. I
oh,
appreciate you. All I can see is that smile. And
oh.
maybe I can line my smile up with yours.
Let's do it, girl. I love it. It has been such a pleasure and so much fun. And I could just talk to you for forever. We will definitely have to keep in touch.
We must.
Yes.
And inbox me your address because these spices, they will change your life. That's
I'm so
right.
excited. Spice, spice, baby. Let's do it.
Jacqueline, inbox me your address because they will change your life. We like to say, change your
Yes.
flavor and not your meal.
Yes.
Yes,
I love it.
yes,
So much love for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for illuminating the world with your presence. It has been such an honor.
all
Thank
right.
you, love.
Uh-huh.
Take care. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in live with Jacqueline Valdez, illuminating the world one voice at a time. Thank you, guys. Lots of love.